Oh goodness. Ooh, that was so bad. Reminds me of some times where my favorite character in a video game dies. Very original opening, I know. But,
that is good.
But I mean, you know, this happens. You play a video game, and an advantage video games have over pretty much any other medium is the fact that you will really become connected with these characters.
Yeah, they make you build, like, feelings for every single character. Well, good games make you build feelings for every single character in it, and when the ties are cut...
Yeah. I mean, you figure in a movie you only have an hour and a half, 2.5 hours,
and
typically.
sometimes you can get attached to people.
But you have a lot less time, and with like a TV show, typically TV shows are kind of afraid to do that. And I mean...
because they can make or break them.
Yeah. But I mean, it should be mentioned that video game characters dying usually sparks a big debate. I mean, people will still talk today about Aerith's dying or Aerith's dying in Final Fantasy VII. People still don't want to believe that was actually how it should have went down. And I mean, the game's been out for, what, 17, 18 years now.
But I'm sorry, guys. It's too bad. She got stabbed. She's dead.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a game theory video that proves that the way she got stabbed wouldn't have killed her. And that him dropping her in the water would have killed her. Because now she has a big gaping hole in her.
And she's probably just going to...
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Because if you watch, she sinks into the water. But anyway, we have our top 5 lists, as evident by the title. Yeah, as obvious by the title. But yeah, I'm going to go first. I won the coin toss. So my number 5 is your character in Pokemon Red and Blue Rescue Team. I think people are, like, nobody ever mentions this. And I find it odd.
Didn't you play as the Pokemon in Red and Blue Rescue Team?
Yes. Okay. Real quick synopsis of the plot of the game. You wake up, you're a Pokemon. You were a human before.
Oh.
Now, you don't know why you're there. All you know is you're there and you were a human. And you want to find out a way to get back. As the game progresses, obviously, you know, it's a Pokemon game. You're living with a Pokemon. You get to choose your Pokemon buddy. You know, gradually, you become more associated with this world. You know, realistically, this was one of the first games I legitimately remember crying about.
Really?
It not like sobbing, but, you know, I was tearing up. Because it is very sad and... spoilers! But,
there's gonna be a lot of them.
Your character, at the end of the game, dies. You don't really die, per se, but it's like the only reason you're there is to break an incoming disaster, stop it, and then you're supposed to go back to the human world.
Very reminiscent of another individual.
Yeah, which we'll be getting to, I'm sure. But, the point is your character has to go back. And it's like, you know, of course you do. You have to go back to your life. I mean, you were only supposed to be there to fix the problem. Problem's fixed. It's over. Mm-hmm. Granted, you know, the game does kind of spoil that. Because, like, 3 minutes later, you're back in the Pokemon world because you wanted to be. So I don't know if it sort of counts, but I liked it. Made me cry a little bit, so...
That's pretty interesting. I never actually knew anything about any of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games.
Deeper plot for a Pokemon game, I must say.
Very deep. Instead of, like, go fight the Elite Four, be number 1.
Yeah. But anyway, you're number 5.
Alright, my number five is Kate Marsh from Life is Strange. Now, this poor girl, like, she's so nice. She's so kind.
Yeah.
Like... and throughout the whole game, people are just like tormenting her. And like they're making every single day a nightmare for this girl.
Yeah.
And you're her one friend. She's coming to you for like all this stuff. She's like, oh, I don't know what to do, Max. Please, you know, you gotta help me.
Yeah. And that happens.
You're trying. You're really trying.
But you're not really trying.
Right.
You're kind of trying. You don't realize the magnitude of the issue.
And you want her to not be sad. And then one day you go to class and she's arguing with your teacher and she storms away crying. And you're like, okay, what was that all about? So you go into class and you see her walk by the window in the rain, right? Then a couple minutes later someone bursts in through the door. They're like, oh my God, someone's on a roof. Everyone runs outside.
I think they know who it is because I think he says Kate Marsh is on the roof.
Okay. So, Kate Marsh is on the roof. Everyone runs.
Yeah.
And they get into the courtyard just in time to see her.
But because if you haven't played Life is Strange, you have the ability to reverse time a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to reverse time to get up to the roof to save her.
You get to the roof, and you're up there with her, and you're having like a heart-to-heart. You're talking to her.
Yeah, because your powers have ran out. You've used them too much. And
you had just enough to stop time to get up there. And, like, you're talking to her, you're trying to get her down off the ledge, but...
One false move, and she plummets.
Yeah, she just goes over the edge. And, like, they give you that opportunity. It's not like she just jumps after you get the connection. It's like, they let you be up there with her in her last moments.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because almost all the characters that I have listed are pretty much, like, they're inevitable deaths. Aside from Kate Marsh, obviously.
Hers is like, you can change it.
Or you could screw up and have her plummet to her death. Mm-hmm. It's very tragic, I must say. And I do find it funny, because we were recording Life is Strange. We were originally going to put it up September. We didn't do it.
Yeah.
We have 12 parts recorded. We're going to finish it up, put it up later on. Mm-hmm. But I want to say the last part we recorded was the part where she drops off the ledge. And it's like, neither of us have any urge to play the game anymore.
It's going to be so sad. I mean, granted, it's going to cut a little bit out of the game. There's like less to do now. But...
I don't think it will.
Because you remember you go visit her at the hospital.
Yeah, but you go visit her so that way you can figure out where the one guy's apartment is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, regardless, I do find it funny that we pretty much stopped playing after that. We're like, we don't have much urge.
Once Kate was gone, that was it. It was tragic.
But you got anything else to add for your number 5?
No, that's it for me. Hit us with your number 4.
Okay, my number 4 is Mikau in Majora's Mask. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Mikau? Who knows? Now, Tim doesn't like Majora's Mask.
No.
And that's all fine and good. But the whole plight of Mikau, or Miko, I'm just going to say Mikau from now on.
Huh.
Now, with Skull Kid, I don't know, I think he kidnapped... I think the Gerudos take the eggs. They take the Zora eggs from... I want to say her name's Lulu. I haven't played through Majora's Mask in a while. Don't crucify me. But Mikau goes to go get the eggs back. Because Lulu, I think her name is like depressed. She isn't even talking anymore because she's lost her eggs.
That makes sense. Those are kids.
And when he goes, they kill him. You know, yeah, it's...
Jesus!
Majora's Mask has a lot more character deaths than you would think.
They were like... Do you want these eggs back? We have to take your life.
So it's like he pretty much sacrificed himself just to get these eggs back. Because, you know, this is the only way the Zoras can reproduce. You know, what's going to happen.
He didn't even get them back, did he?
He did not get them back. Link has to, you know, play the Song of Healing for him, officially, you know, ending his existence. Then use the mask to go in and get the eggs himself. Just that way when time, you know, flips back... The eggs are back there. Yeah, Majora's Mask is not a happy game.
That's savage. Oh my god.
It is pretty savage. But he gets murdered trying to rescue these eggs.
Normally in games, when characters die, there's like...
Especially in Nintendo games.
Yeah, some sort of, like, payoff for it.
Yeah, I mean, there is technically a payoff, because you wouldn't be able to use his mask without it.
Okay, I guess.
But at the same point, it's like, you know, he dies.
He went on a
failed
endeavor.
He failed. It's just crazy. It adds a bit to the magnitude of the situation you're in. Because it's like, if I don't do well, you know, there's nobody left who can really go get these eggs back.
Yeah, everyone, like, the Zoras are destined to die off.
It's pretty tragic. But that's about all I have for my number 4.
Alright. I'm bringing my number 4.
Running in hot. Shooting up aliens.
Oh, no. Running in hot. Blowing up, aliens.
Yeah, that was a good guess.
Dom from Gears of War. Now, you spend all of Gears of War 1 and 2 hanging out with Dom. Like, it's Dom and Marcus. They're brothers. They're like... You know, they're one and the same. And they have, like, a special war bond as well as, like, you know, being friends.
Yeah.
And in 2, I think what really did it for 3 was in 2, Dom goes looking for his wife.
Wasn't that the whole reason he's looking in general?
Well,
I thought that was the whole...
That's why he's like... In 1, he's looking for his wife. And that's why he's like helping fight.
Yeah.
But in 2, he finds his wife.
Okay.
She's like in this like chamber underground where they've been holding humans, and like she's malnourished, and she doesn't even recognize him. Ooh. And he has to put her out of her misery. And like all throughout 3, like Dom doesn't really seem the same. And there's this scene where everyone in their platoon, like there's like 4 of you guys to go investigate this like this place where the locusts, I think they're called locusts, are hanging out, and you run into trouble. You run into a swarm of them, and it looks like none of you are gonna make it. And Dom, he takes your vehicle and like to give you one last chance to escape. He runs down this tunnel and like comes back, and like he's like, get out of there, you guys are leaving. He crashes into this explosive tank, it blows up everything. Dom, he was the man.
Sounds like it.
It was tragic. I remember playing that, and I'm like, not Dom. Not Dom. Getting all emotional.
Yeah. As somebody who hasn't played the game, seems pretty emotional, I must say.
It was rough.
Seems like a really great character arc over the course of 3 whole games.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty impressive.
Really attached to him, too. Yeah. It was bad. Alright.
Yeah.
No more Dom. What's your number 3?
Okay, so my number 3, things got a lot interesting towards the end of Until Dawn. And yes, it's a character from Until Dawn, and I was kind of torn on how to necessarily bring in this character, like if I could. But I decided these are my rules, so yeah, Mike is pretty much the main character of Until Dawn. I think after you played it, you really kind of agree. I'd say he's like 30% the main character, 30% goes to Sam, and then the other 6 characters get like 40% between them. But at the end of the game, okay, because I did a playthrough where I killed everybody off, and with just Sam and Mike left, because they're the only characters who can't die to this point, plot armor, they say.
I love plot armor.
I've complained enough about it on this channel, but you get to the end of the game, and these things are attacking you, the Wendigo. Again, spoilers, you guys should already know. But he breaks the light bulb, and then the goal is to get all the characters out. Well, if there's no other character with him, there is no out. There's no way he can sneak out.
You can not move, right? If you don't, like, if you...
Well, at this point, there's just Mike.
Yeah.
Sam will die shortly before this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just Mike. There's no way he can get out. He's so far in the lodge that...
Well, no, because, alright, if you remember when... Sorry. If you remember when you're playing...
trying to destroy it.
If you remember you're playing as Sam, like, Mike escapes, like, and you're still up on the top floor, like, next to the... you guys are on the bottom floor. Sorry, you're on the bottom floor next to the chimney. Like, she's in there.
Yeah.
And she's got to run all the way to the other side of the lodge. I think Mike could have done it. But
it's aside from the point.
But still, sorry.
You would have to really, debate if Mike could make it out. Well, if everybody else is dead, you know what Mike does? He says, screw it. And he opens up his lighter, and he lights it, causing the entire lodge to explode in flames.
Killing the Wendigo left inside.
All the Wendigos left inside.
I thought it was only the one.
There's still a few left.
Didn't the other 2 kill each other?
I want to say one kills one of them, and then there's still like 2 or 3 left in the lodge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, don't quote me on this. But regardless, completely incinerates him. They even have a scene showing him catch on fire. Remember at the beginning of Until Dawn when we got that totem, and we were like, who is this who's on fire? And we couldn't figure it out. It's Emily, if Emily makes it to there, and they blow up the lodge before she gets out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ah.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Does make sense.
But it is horrible. You watch it, and it's like, by this point, Mike, for me, did such a great progression. Because when we first started playing the game, I hated him. He was
seemed like
a dick.
douche.
Exactly. By the end of the game, you've been with him for so long that you honestly start to grow to like him. You're like, oh, this is a really good guy. and then to have him just be like, there's no way out. And, you know, to make matters worse, you know, it kind of makes the problem worse, because then the spirit of the Wendigo are still there instead of the physical Wendigo, which you can just cage up. But it's aside from the point.
The spirit can go take over another body.
Aside from the point, though, Mike blowing himself up, so sad, so tragic, bring a tear to my eye.
Alright, so number 3?
Yeah.
Number 3, I went with Noble 6 from Halo Reach. Now, if you played Halo Reach, you know the entire Noble team dies. But I feel that Noble 6, I mean, aside from obviously being the main character, like, his end death was, like, one of the most traumatic. And I would say there's one that's slightly more traumatic than the others, but the character doesn't, like, when they die, it's not like they put up a fight or anything. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, I hate when deaths are like that.
Yeah, but that one was sad. But, like, he goes out, like, he was left on this planet to die. Like, they were like, oh, we'll come for you. And then, like, you're waiting, and they're like, actually, we can't do it. So you're left with, like, your weapons. It's just an onslaught of Covenant coming at you, and you gotta kill as many as you can. And when you're, like, during part of the end, like, right as it goes to the last cutscene, like, dude takes off his helmet and, like, drops it. I mean, it doesn't show you his face, but, like, his helmet has the camera on it, so you can see him, like, fighting these Covenant in the background, like, whipping out, like, they're coming at him with swords. He's just, like, taking their swords and stabbing them. It's, like, shooting them. And eventually he just kind of gets overwhelmed. And that's it.
It's very traumatic.
Mm-hmm. It was sad. And, you know, you customize him throughout, like, the whole game. At least, I'm pretty sure you customize him throughout the whole game. So he's, like, you kind of make him your own character.
Is he the main character?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He comes in as the rookie, but, like, you get, like, the most important task. I think they give you Cortana to get to the very end.
Wow.
So, but I thought that was a pretty sad character death. It stuck with me for a while, because that ending was just badass.
Sounds pretty great. So that's you.
That's it for my number 3.
Okay, so my number 2, and I felt like a Final Fantasy character had to make it on this list, so I had to be this guy, and it's Titus from Final Fantasy X.
Right, you probably thought it was going to be Aerith.
Screw all of you who thought it was going to be Aerith, because you obviously haven't been paying attention. Okay? Titus's death is so sad, because it technically isn't like a death, as much as it is him never existing and being out of existence. It's a Final Fantasy game, so the plot is really confusing, convoluted. It doesn't make sense until
it runs into itself over and over.
But regardless, when you beat Sin, and I feel bad because I keep telling him, I'm like, we gotta play this game on the channel. And every single week I spoil more of the game. By the time he gets to it, he's gonna know what's coming every single way.
I already know what's coming.
But your father, Jack, is Sin. So you go inside and you basically, you're just destroying everything. You defeat Seymour, you defeat you, Yevon, you defeat everything. Well, then as it turns out, because there's nothing left for you to do there, and again, very similar to the Pokemon one, but the Faith stop summoning you and Jack and all of the Aeons in existence. They're just like, well, there's no point, because finally we can rest. So that means Titus is gone. And again, it's a Final Fantasy game, so it's really long when you actually think about it.
It's a long game.
And Titus is the main character the entire time. And just like I said with Mike, he has a really great character progression, where at the beginning he's kind of a whiny brat. He's hard to like at the beginning, to be honest. You know, even up until probably Beaconal Island, he's still pretty, hard to like. But when he goes, it's like, you know, you don't really expect him to go. Like, you know it's gotta happen. But it's like, he can't go. They'll find a reason to keep him, right? Mm-hmm. One of the Faith will keep dreaming, right? Nope. He's just gone. And the scene itself is really sad. You've probably seen the scene at some point. But
don't him and Yuna fall in love or some crap?
Throughout the game, yes.
But
so they're on the ship, on the outside of the ship, and all the characters are, hanging around. And they just defeated Sin. Everybody's all happy. And then kind of see Orin's kind of fading out of existence because he's been dead the entire game. Sorry. And I feel bad. But
Orin ain't even
then
real.
You see Titus, and he's kind of like sitting there, and he's like, well, this is the end, guys. And, Yuna's all sad. She turns around, she starts crying. Titus goes up, and he's, trying his best to hug her as, he fades out of existence.
That's sad.
It's pretty sad. It's hard to put it at number 1 because technically he wasn't really alive.
Yeah.
So it's not so much a death, but it's a moment that really sticks with you when you play it. Because, it's sad. It's like, I can't believe this is actually happening. I guess you should, because it's a Final Fantasy game.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like their players, playing happy, but...
They're like, we want you to end it on a sad note. You're going to love the game the whole time. Afterwards, you're just going to be miserable.
Yeah, and then there's the really sad scene afterwards where Yuna, she's giving, like, a speech to all the people of Spira. And she's like, oh, we have to be strong for those we lost. And you're just like, I'm sorry.
Poor Yuna.
Poor Yuna.
Lost the only weird dream guy she'll ever love.
But that's about all I have to say about Tidus, so.
Alright, my number 2. Sorry, I gotta get my notepad out.
Oh, it's all good, Tim.
My number 2, I went with Bill from Left 4 Dead.
What?
Alright. Bill was like, in Left 4 Dead, they give you Bill, you get Alice, you get, what's that chick's name? Anyway, regardless of all the people they give you, honestly, like, Bill is, like, the nicest dude. He's, like, an old war vet. He's, like, he's really inspirational. Like, he says some funny stuff when they have, like, banter throughout the game. It's kind of funny. And when you get to Left 4 Dead 2, they kind of, like, when they add the DLC, they kill Bill. Bill dies. It's tragic. You even find his body, like...
You don't even get to see him die on screen?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Wow.
But, like, Bill, really? Like, Bill was the man. And you get connected to him because you play through all these levels. Like, Bill was my favorite character.
Yeah.
Like, you play through all these levels as Bill. Like, so many hours of gameplay. Like, so many matches. And it's just... They kill him. Gone. In an instant. I guess it was to be expected. He was an old dude.
Not to mention, Left 4 Dead is a zombie series, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
but
sooner or
couldn't you
later...
have killed off anyone else?
Couldn't you have killed him off on screen?
Like Lewis? Come on, he had a pill problem. I mean, honestly, there's not a lot I can say about the plot development for Left 4 Dead and how you connect with Bill with that, but...
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, sometimes I feel like the less plot development, it still can hurt you.
And I feel like Bill was a lot of people's favorite characters. Anytime I went online to try and pick somebody to be, it was going to be Bill. He was always taken. And I'd always have to play as Lewis, or whoever that chick was. I don't remember her name.
Ain't nobody care about the chick.
But, anyway, that's all I gotta say for Bill.
Okay, so I have some honorable mentions.
I also have honorable mentions.
Thank goodness. Because I was worried you weren't going to have any.
No, I got
so
6, technically.
6 honorable mentions?
Technically.
Holy 6. Holy 6. So, for my honorable mentions, for one, I have Steve from Minecraft. I know it's kind of a weird thing to say, because he doesn't technically die. He never has to die.
Because you wake up on that island with him with nothing, and you build him his empire.
Yeah.
And
I think the worst part is when you're Steve, and you're just, you're building along all happy, and maybe you got the volume low, because, maybe you're watching your favorite YouTubers, or maybe you're listening to some music, I don't know, but then next thing you know, you see Steve explode, and he's dead, and nothing makes you want to play that game less than when that happens.
Or what's worse is, you're building inside your house, you got your volume up so you can hear the ambient music and everything, and the of you punching away at walls, and then you hear Yes.
Yeah, you do a really good creeper.
Thank you. I've heard a lot of them. And then, boom.
Yeah.
You're dead. All your stuff, gone. Your house, ruined.
Yeah. But moving on, I also have John Marston from Red Dead Redemption. I've mentioned it before. Again, never played the game. But from what I've seen in the ending, when it's like, there's no way you guys are getting out, and you just gotta, you pretty much sacrifice yourself so your wife and kid can get out.
The most epic barn shootout in history. You're just like, I'm gonna dead-eye everyone. You're like...
But you're surrounded. There's no way around it. I also have a few more honorable mentions. I originally wasn't going to put these people on here, but then I was kind of like, while Tim was talking, I was like, yeah, this is a good thought. So I want to put the stranger from Until Dawn on there. Originally wasn't going to put him on there.
That was kind of tragic.
But the more you think about it, this guy has been living on these mountains, fighting off the Wendigo for decades. Probably like his entire life.
To keep everyone else safe, including the Washingtons.
And then what happens, for one, the Washingtons hate him. They're like, we see that stranger again. 2, we don't even get his name. 3, he dies. He just gets his head cut off.
He shows up to help these kids out of the kindness of his heart, and then Chris gets him killed.
And then, to add even more onto it, he, no matter what, gets eaten by Josh at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So that way Josh can become a Wendigo.
Poor guy.
What a horrible, horrible, luck he had. And then I also want to add, and I know I keep doing this, but I do it because I love it. I'm going to put Victor Van Leer on my list.
Oh my god. Victor Van Leer. No. A friend of
From
free.
NBA 2K16.
I can't support this one.
I can support this one. You play the game, you hate this guy, you hate him so much. And then you almost wish he would just die.
At the end of the game, he dies.
He dies in a car accident. It was like, where did this come from? In no genre of game do you expect a character to die, less than a sports game.
Right? They're like, he's your friend, you're just gonna either cut him loose, you're gonna have to deal with his crap. And they're like, just kidding.
Here you go, here's an out. So now you can play the rest of your career, having fun.
And he's not gonna affect the team. Boom.
Problem solved.
And then you gotta listen to him talk about how your mom's hot, your sister's hot, your girlfriend's hot.
Yeah.
It is weird. It
just came out of nowhere, Gives you something fun to do all the time. You freaking invite it. Okay, but your honorable mentions now.
Alright, so I said I got 6 honorable mentions. I'm gonna hit you with my first one. I'll go with... Actually, I'll hit you with my first 5. The other 5 members of Noble Team from Halo Reach. Boom. Look at that. Quick and easy. They gave their life to save your character. Each and every single one of them. And by far, 2 of the most tragic were, I think it was Noble 2 who goes first. He's like, we got this bomb on this ship. The only way to get it to fire without the detonator is to do it ourselves. And you guys that's a one-way trip. He's like, I know. Takes his dog tags off, he gives them to you. He's got you by the hand. He's like, Reach has been good to me. I've got to give back. And he lifts your dude up so you can't fight back and try and stop him. He takes you to the edge of the ship and tosses you. So that way...
He kills you?
No, he doesn't kill you.
Oh.
You start falling and they catch you, but he tosses you so he can blow this thing and stop this Covenant warship. And the other one, I don't remember what number she was. It was this Russian chick, and you're playing the game, and she's like no. You're playing the game, and she's like the really smart one. She's in charge of communications and everything.
Smart?
Right?
I really wasn't expecting that.
And they're like, oh, all the Covenant are fleeing the area. We don't know why. There was a big explosion, and the Covenant are leaving, but there's only one Covenant ship leaving, flying around, and they're hunting for something. I don't know what it is, and they're running across this destroyed building, and then boom, right through the back of her head, a sniper bullet.
Jeez.
Just out of nowhere. Tragic. So tragic.
She was just standing there.
They even drag her body with them so that way they can give her an honorable burial.
Wow.
It was sad.
And then your other honorable mention?
My last honorable mention, I'm gonna go Kratos from God of War. Because he's technically dead. Like, alright, in the beginning of God
There's a new God of War game.
In the beginning of God of War 1, I think it's Ares who kills you? He, like...
Well, we're splitting hairs on who
somebody
did.
kills you, and then you're like, you know what? I gotta become the Ghost of Sparta.
Okay.
That's why he's the Ghost of Sparta.
Okay.
And you go kill gods and titans, and it's crazy.
Yeah. And then after that, you teach your son how to hunt.
What?
The new God of War game.
I haven't played it.
Well, it hasn't come out yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Alright, but that's it for my honorable mentions.
Okay, so that means it's finally time for my number one. And if this sounds a little familiar, it's because it is. I have Kate Marsh as my number one.
Hey, I remember her.
Okay, I would hope you do.
That was tragic.
Now, aside from the reasons Tim mentions and the guilt you associate with it, and the fact she's a nice girl, I think it's the fact that she just straight up kills herself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any character we mentioned legitimately just kills himself.
Like, they all had a reason for it. Like, there was a purpose.
She had a reason for it too, but...
like, it was for the greater good.
Yeah, okay, I can see what you're saying. Very tragic. You play through the game and you're like, well, I hope she doesn't do something like that. She's a religious girl. She won't do that. And then, holy crap, you know, next thing you know,
She did it.
She did it. And you're legitimately sad. They have that great song by Mount Washington. Woo! A spicy track.
And then
playing
you
in the
blame it
background.
on your teacher, or you blame it on Dave, or you blame it on... Nathan.
Yeah. You blame it on somebody, because it's not your fault.
Yeah.
Of course it's not.
You tried to help her. They're like, why were you on a roof? And you're like, I pushed her.
Yeah, and I think part of it also is the fact that while you're up there, you know, the pressure's on, but because it's a video game, you honestly kind of assume it's going to be okay either way.
It's tense.
It is very tense. And then when she falls and, you know, she's dead, you almost kind of blame yourself.
Yeah, you're like, I could have saved her. I messed up. Can I rewind? Let me rewind.
Yeah, it's a very traumatic moment.
It was bad. I didn't like it.
Tim did not like it. I didn't like it necessarily either, but it was probably the best example of a character dying in a video game.
Yeah, it really was.
But anyway, your number one.
Alright, my number one, climbing on stuff, swinging a sword around, riding on a horse, Wander from Shadow of the Colossus. Now, you're like, okay, why? Like, because, you know, Wander doesn't talk, so you don't, like, relate to him too much. But he brings, I guess this is his wife, or the girl he's in love with. I'm not quite sure. There wasn't a whole lot of explanation on that. But he brings her to this temple. He puts her down on this, like, shrine. And in order to bring her back to life, he has to kill these 16 giant beasts. Well, I think they're demons. And
Colossi.
And as you're going through and you're killing them and you're getting more and more possessed, like you're growing horns and like your eyes are turning black and like your skin's cracking and turning like you look dirty. You finally kill the last one. You get back to the temple and there are these, this is spoilers for you, but there are these guys who come in. They're like, there are people in there. They shouldn't be in there. They're messing everything up. They come in and they find all the statues crumbled. They're like, what have you done? And like, they just straight up kill you. Like,
What?
you're not supposed to be there, but they just straight up kill you. And as you're lying there dead, the souls, like the souls from these 16 Colossus are surrounding you, and they just go into you and take over your body, and you turn into this giant hulking demon, and you're like crushing these dudes, and they're firing arrows at you, but you can't do anything. It's just going straight through you. But in that moment when he dies, like, it's really, it's disheartening, because all he wants to do is save this girl, and like, he's killing these things that shouldn't exist, but for some reason, these people in these weird masks are like, no, you can't do that. You have to die. And it's already too late. The things are dead anyway, but they're still like, kill him. Screw it. It was rough.
That
I
sounds
didn't like it.
horrifying. So tragic. Makes me want to cry right now.
I'm crying on the inside eternally from it.
I'm sure you are.
That's why I always have that sad look in my eyes.
So do we have anything else to add before we completely wrap this video up?
My soul is black with pain. Much like my shirt.
Okay, so if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. If you need a comment to comment, why not comment your top 5 character deaths?
Yep.
Now,
So that way we can compare and contrast.
Yes, we will respond in your comment. The one thing we ask, though, is that these are characters who are good.
Yeah.
If you are the bad guy, that's fine. But I'm saying, like, don't put, like, I don't know, the bad guy.
Ganondorf.
Yeah, don't put Ganondorf
Obviously,
on your list.
Ganondorf's gonna die.
Dude, he's only died, like, 4 times.
Right? And don't put, like, the 16th Colossus.
It's kind of dull. I mean, it's not necessarily bad, but we'll probably end up doing a bad guy deaths video down the line.
More than likely.
So, save
some
it for
of them
that
are
video.
kind of tragic. Or, like, not tragic,
Ganon,
but, like,
Wind Waker.
epic. Ganon from Wind Waker?
Yes. Ganon just wanted to bring Hyrule up from the water. And you stab him through the head. You jump in and you're like, die! And then he turns to stone.
That's...
Yep.
What?
You've never played through Wind Waker before?
No, I didn't like the art style.
Jeez. I'm surprised you didn't at least know the plot.
Not even a little bit.
Okay, well, regardless, make sure you do all those things for us because we really appreciate if you guys do. Also, if you need something else to comment, maybe comment another top 5 we should do down the line.
And we got one last thing for you before we go.
Do we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's my AJ Styles t-shirt. That's what we got waiting.
It's a cat. Hi, Reese.
I don't think
Everyone
Reese
loves cats.
wanted to be on camera like that.
Whoop. Okay. No, she did not.
But take us out, Tim.
See you later, guys.
Boom.